Hey everyone! So we're going to try something a little different here on Foodie. I know I haven't been blogging in quite some time, so one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to try and blog a lot more and do it on a regular basis. So instead of doing a whole lot of pictures like I usually do of all the steps of the recipes, I decided that I'm going to try more of a video concept. I think it's going to be much easier and faster and maybe even more interesting to you guys. So I'm not on the video today because I'm standing here in my pajamas. So that's not going to happen. But so then I'm just starting with showing you what pot I'm going to be using to make today's recipe, which is going to be a mulligatawny soup with chicken. And this is my version of Le Creuset, if I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly, pot. Just kind of like those heavy bottom ceramic kind of pots that are great for making soup in. So this is what I'll be using today to make the recipe. Okay, so I'm starting to prep the things that I need vegetable-wise for my soup. Here is a pile of chopped onions, 3 cups worth. I just kind of eyeballed it, and 5 cloves worth of finely minced garlic. Also, the good thing about doing video is I can share with you some of my tricks that I use when I cook. One of them being that kind of like instead of Rachel Ray's garbage bowl, I've been doing, I guess you could call it a garbage paper towel lately. And it really makes for an easy cleanup at the end of your cooking. Just put out a paper towel, and any time that you chop up anything, you can put kind of your scraps over there. And then when you're done, you just roll it up and throw it away, and it's a nice, nice easy way to kind of clean as you go, which is a really good tip. And here is my new knife that I got for, it's kind of dirty now because I was just chopping with it, but got for Christmas. It's very nice. I love it, and it's super, super sharp. So, okay, so one of the spices that it calls for in this recipe is called garam masala. You can buy this already made, or if you're like us and you have a lot of different spices, you probably have the spices to put together to actually make this spice that you need. So what you need to make this spice is black pepper, cinnamon, nutmeg, ground cloves, so I just ground up some cloves in a coffee grinder, ground coriander, cumin, and cardamom. And here it is, homemade garam masala. Alright, so here are the spices that we'll be working with for the rest of the time here. So we've got our homemade garam masala, we've got some more ground coriander, turmeric, cayenne pepper, and bay leaves. Okay, so we're starting by just sauteing up the 3 cups of onions in a 1/4 cup of light olive oil. And I've got the heat on fairly high to start, and then I'm going to put it down to medium here in a second so that the onions can hang out. Get them even. Okay, so I've stirred them again. It's been just a few minutes. You can see that the onions will start to turn a little yellow at first as they're sitting in there on a medium to low, well, like medium-low heat. That's what the fire looks like. Kind of, you know, right here is high, okay, and I've got it like that. So it's about medium. And on the knob it says 3. So that's where we are right now. We're waiting until they start to brown up a little bit, but not all the way. In the meantime, go ahead and chop up some thawed out chicken breasts. I did 3 large chicken breasts and chopped them all up into bite-sized pieces. I think the recipe calls for 2 cups. I can't remember, but I think this will be the perfect amount. Alright, at this point you can see that the onions are starting to brown around the edges, and they're pretty translucent at this point. So now's the time to go ahead and add your minced garlic and stir. Okay, so I put the garlic in there and just stirring that around. You can see it's browning up pretty good. So now's the time to add the garam masala that you made and all the other spice ingredients. Okay, so here are all the different spices added. We're just going to stir that all together. And it is just coated with spices, but they smell amazing. Very, very, just, I don't know. That's the smell of Indian spices are just really, really good. Almost floral. Okay, so now we're going to put in our bay leaves. Okay, I have tiny little bay leaves and the recipe calls for 2, so I put in 4. So then it says to go ahead and add 2 cups of lentils. I have regular lentils rather than red, which actually these kind of look red, kind of brown red. So these are what we're going to use. And then I'm going to stir to coat the lentils with all of this goodness. I'm going to turn my fire back up to about medium. I had it on low while I was adding all of those spices so the onions wouldn't burn. Okay. We got all those coated. Just kind of let them toast up a little bit. Okay, so it's been about a minute since they've been toasting, so I stir them again. And now the recipe says to add 8 cups of low salt chicken stock. I think, does this even have salt in it? I don't think it does, or if it does, doesn't have a lot. Anyway, I'm going to, this is 4 cups right here, so I'm going to add 2 of these. These are just ones that I get from Costco. You're going to get a nice sizzle when you do that. And I have this one and the other big one and stir. Okay, so I've added all 8 cups of the chicken stock and just stirring that up. Also, anytime that you add a lot of liquid to your soup, you want to put your fire back up on high, and that way you can get the soup up to a boiling point, and then you can turn it down so that it can simmer. So that's where I have right now is this on a high flame. And so I just read the instructions more on the recipe, and it says that later on we're going to be adding diced cooked chicken. So as you saw, my chicken wasn't cooked yet. So actually I'm going to move this pot to the back burner, and I'm going to take out a pan and saute up my chicken so that I make sure that that's cooked and ready to go. Okay, so as you can see, it has come to a boil. So I'm just going to stir that goodness around. And turn the fire down to about half where I had it. So let that simmer. And over here I've got the chicken going just in a regular saute pan. I just did, I heated up some olive oil, just light olive oil, and then just added some salt and pepper just to get it so that it's not pink. Coney, you ready to eat? Okay, I have to feed him before I do any more with this soup. It's simmering. It'll be simmering for 20 minutes. That's right. Oh, one more tip. It never really says on most of these soup recipes, but if you're going to be simmering a soup for 20 minutes, you don't want to lose a bunch of liquid. You want to actually have that liquid for your soup. So put your lid on your pot while it's simmering. Just a little tip. Okay, so the recipe also talks about making some basmati rice, and you're going to serve the soup with it. So A lot of people, I think that making rice is difficult, and it is about the easiest thing that you can do. So I have a cup of the dry basmati rice. We always get this kind. We have other kinds too, but this I think is my favorite. I love the texture of the rice. As you'll see, you can get a good look. It's kind of long, and it's I don't know, like a light rice, you know, in kind of weight. It's not that fat, starchy rice. All you do is put however much rice you want to make. So a cup of dry rice is probably going to make like damn near 3 cups of cooked rice, I guess. But it's always a 1-to-2 ratio. So if you have a cup of dried rice, you're just going to put 2 cups of water or chicken broth in with the cup of dried rice. Stir it up, put it on the stove to boil, and then put it all the way down to low, cover it, and let it go until it soaks up all the water. And that's it. Just fluff it up. Okay, so I'm going to just add water to mine. Normally I do add chicken broth, only because, you know, it gives it a little more flavor. But because we're going to be mixing it into a soup that has tons of flavor, there's no reason to use chicken broth. Okay, so I'm just stirring it up. And then I am just going to put the the lid onto the pot. And right now it's on, actually I'm not going to put the lid on yet. It's on high, so I'm going to let that come to a boil first. And then once it comes to a boil, I'll put it down to low and then put the lid on it. Okay, so it also calls for some lemon juice. So again, while we are waiting for the soup to simmer, I've just cut a lemon in half, and I like to use this tool right here. I can't do it with one hand, but I'm just going to press down on this, turn back and forth until all the juice comes out, and it'll be easy to pour into my tablespoon. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes, and this is what it looks like now. So the recipe says that the lentils should be tender right about now. And I just tasted them. They still have a little bit of a chew to them. I mean, they're going to have a little bit, but they taste like they need just a few more minutes in there. So I'm going to give it at least 5 minutes, maybe even 10. And I'm going to put the cover back on. Okay, so as you can see, the rice is boiling now. Just going to stir a little, and then put the flame down to as low as it'll go. And I'm going to put the lid on. And just check it in about, I don't know, 6 minutes or so. It really doesn't take too long, 6-7 minutes. Okay, so basically, when you take off the lid and the rice looks like that, it's all packed down and you don't see any more liquid, your rice is done. That's about it. So I'm going to grab a fork, and you just want to turn your fire off, and all you do is fluff it up. That's like it. It is super, super, super easy. Once you've fluffed it up, if it looks a little like it's not super dry or anything, a little wet still, just put the lid back on. And that is about the extent of the difficulty. Okay, so I just took the lid back off. I think it's probably going to be just about ready to start picking out the bay leaves and pureeing the soup. So I'm just going to taste it again, and I will let you know if these are tender. Okay, so they do taste pretty tender, so it's time to puree the soup. Now the recipe says to work in batches, probably putting you know, kind of small batches into your blender or into a food processor to blend it and puree your soup. But I have a cool toy. So this, I can show you, is my immersion blender, and it's one of my favorite things to use. And all you do, you plug it in and then just stick it in here, and here if I can get it, okay, and then mad cool. So I'm just going to go through and puree this out, and I'll be right back. Alright, so it is pureed. It looks awesome. So now the recipe says for us to add our chicken, coconut milk, and lemon juice. And then we'll season to taste with salt and pepper, so that's when we can kind of adjust the saltiness of the soup. So over here I have my chicken. I measured out my coconut milk and my lemon juice. So I'm going to go ahead and add all of this. Add coconut milk. Lemon juice. And the chicken. Okay, I'm going to stir that up. Let's see what we got here. Okay, let's see what this tastes like. I have no idea what this is going to, I mean, I've tasted it a couple of times already, and it's been really good, but with the additions of the lemon juice and the coconut milk, who knows? So let me taste it. Okay, so it is good. Definitely needs some more salt, I think. It's a little bland on the salt. I almost think it should put, maybe I should put a little more cayenne in it. That's just me though, because I tasted the spiciness before and it was good, but once I put in the coconut milk, it kind of killed it a little bit, so I might add a little more of that too. Okay, so I probably added, well, I did add another tablespoon of lemon juice. I just thought it needed a little bit more, and I probably added another, I don't know, maybe quarter teaspoon of cayenne pepper. It just needed a bit more of a kick. I'm not trying to make it hugely spicy either. It really needs that tingle in your mouth when you're eating it, or it's not really, you know, this is an Indian soup, so you want a little heat. So I think it is ready to serve. Oh, and I forgot to mention I also hit it with some sea salt. I just have it in a grinder here, Himalayan pink salt, so I don't know, about 6 cranks of that or so. So just kind of do it to taste until it tastes like it should for you. Okay, so I have just a little soup bowl or soup cup. I put some of the basmati rice down in the bottom and cut some lemon wedges there to serve with the soup in case you think that it needs a little bit more lemon juice. And then I'm going to ladle some of the soup on top of that. Okay, and this is what it looks like when it's all done. I've spooned the soup over the rice, and then I just garnished it with a slice of lemon. And there you have it. So that is your mulligatawny soup with chicken. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Talk to you later.